yeah, I forgot about that paper. Yeah, what's your class? Well, no, I'm not going to do it.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Welcome back. Millions of people tune in every year for the biggest sporting event in America, the Super Bowl. With this year's Super Bowl battle between the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, many fans cheered and jeered for both teams. Let's take a look at what Take 30's Jared Ford found of the Super Bowl winning predictions around town.
Yeah, man, they gonna do it. Yeah, man. We got the better defense in the whole National Football League, hands down.
I mean, not for life.
Green Bay on for Sunday, man.
Green Bay for Sunday.
Well, I've been a Steelers fan for a long, long time, and me and my guy been rivalry is right next to me, Mr. Abdul Lee Slash.
For real ENT.
For real ENT. And that's my team, and I'm just going with it.
Don't go to Frank no more.
As I was saying, by me being just an outstanding to the hard football fan, I just like the way how Mike Tomlin just came in as a young black man and just rallying those boys together and just showing how a team should be coached and managed. Yeah, but this is going to be one of the better Super Bowls, I think, in a long time. And I'm just, we all just happy that we're just going to be able to watch a good Super Bowl with two good, awesome teams. And that's pretty much it.
Green Bay gonna win.
He thinks Green Bay gonna win. When you see us again, I'm gonna be talking about number 7.
It looks like the Steelers fans at Bailey's are going to be disappointed today with Green Bay winning over the Steelers 31-25. This was the first Super Bowl win for the Packers in 14 years. What did you think of the game, Hillary?
Well, actually, Andy, I was a little bit disappointed because personally, I'm a black and yellow Steelers fan, and I was hoping that they would get their second Super Bowl win in Arlington this year. But sadly, that didn't happen, and they kind of struggled at the beginning and tried to pull it out in the end. And in football, that doesn't really work. You got to play consistent like Green Bay did, and I think that's why they won. How about you?
Well, I was actually a Packers fan in this game, but I thought the Packers did a good job. They actually surprised me. They did a really good job of getting pressure on Ben Roethlisberger and forcing turnovers and fumbles and interceptions. Steelers had actually 3 turnovers, and I think that was the huge key in the ball game.
Did you have any plays that really stuck out to you?
There was actually 2 that actually stuck out to me. Probably the first touchdown of the game when Aaron Rodgers found Jordy Nelson. It was on a deep pass, and that was actually a huge game. It kind of got the momentum rolling for Green Bay. And then towards the end, when the Steelers fumbled, and the Steelers actually had momentum going at that time, and I think that kind of sealed the deal for the Packers.
Yeah, the Steelers definitely tried to turn it around in the second quarter, but obviously it wasn't good enough. You know what I really found interesting were the Super Bowl commercials. You know, everyone watches the Super Bowl for the football and the commercials. What was your favorite commercial?
My favorite commercial was the E-Tray commercial with the baby and the doctor, and it was actually kind of interesting because the E-Tray commercials are always interesting because it's a talking baby, and they speak in complete sentences, so that's always interesting to me.
Definitely, my favorite commercial was also this E-Tray commercial, but it was actually the second one when the baby was talking to the cat, Mr. Peppers. I thought that was pretty cute and pretty funny. You know, besides the commercials, I also found the halftime show really interesting because you saw all the lights and all the technology they use, which is something that I really haven't seen in the Super Bowl before. What were your thoughts on it?
The Super Bowl halftime show, it was very interesting. The dancing was probably the best part, I thought. Just the way it was choreographed, and I think that's always probably the most entertaining part to me, because a lot of times the singing can be off cue, but
yeah.
And I think that was probably the most interesting part for me.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Fergie was a little below par on her performance, but hey, you know what? It's a live performance. It can't all sound like what they do on the CD. You know what really amazed me was the fact that people were paying $250 to watch the Super Bowl from outside. I thought that was crazy. But also, did you hear about how someone paid $50,000 for a ticket inside? That's as much as a Mercedes.
Yeah, and well, that means I won't be paying for a Super Bowl ticket anytime soon with my minimum wage job.
Yeah. Well, along with the Super Bowl, we had some great Bulldogs sports this weekend. Let's take a look at what happened and what's coming up for our Bulldogs.
Men's tennis suffered a loss to number 23 ranked Georgia Tech on Saturday the 5th. The Bulldogs lost 4-0 and are now 1-2 on the season. They will take on Ole Miss Thursday the 10th. That rivalry match will be in Jackson at 5 p.m. for the 14th annual River Heroes Cup.
Men's basketball battled it out with LSU and finished with a 1-point win on the road. The 58-57 win puts the Bulldogs at 4-4 in conference play and 12-10 overall. They will play Arkansas next at 7 p.m. on Thursday on the 10th, and we look for a win against the Razorbacks at home.
Women's basketball traveled to Auburn on Super Bowl Sunday to take on the Tigers. Our Lady Bulldogs won the game with a score of 57-45. That puts the team at 1-9 in the conference and 9-13 overall. On Thursday the 10th, they'll be in Oxford for the rivalry matchup with Ole Miss. That game is at 7 p.m.
That's all we have right now for sports. Coming up after the break, Take 30 will take a look at the upcoming events in Starkville.
Don't go anywhere. You're watching Take 30.
Procrastination is the destruction of most, if not all, college students. By the time we reach college, we are all experts at avoiding the inevitable. Avoiding homework to get more leisure time sounds like a good idea until the night before when we have to cram. You can avoid becoming a victim to procrastination by assessing the task at hand, scheduling times to work on it, and eliminating distractions.
Don't put off your homework. Do it now.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Welcome back to Take 30. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to spend a day in the opposite sex's body? Well, Take 30's Ashley Patrick set out to find the answer.
Everyone, it's me, Ashley Patrick with MSU's Take 30, and this week we're in the Culver Student Union working on our segment, Word on the Street. Today's question for Word on the Street is, if you could be the opposite sex for one full day, what would you want to do the most? Come on, let's see what kind of answers we get with this question.
I would probably want to see what it feels like to wear a pencil skirt.
I'm going to a slumber party. I'm asking about what the girls think of me.
I would love to be a video vixen. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, I'd like to see what all I could get for free in one day.
Well, I'd say shop and read gossip magazines.
Those were some of the answers from the guys. Now, let's take a look at how the ladies answered this question.
Honestly, I think that I would want to go around the union and see how many phone numbers I can get from girls.
I guess I'd want to see how differently people treated me as a boy. I would want to see how it feels to stand up and use the bathroom.
Listen to a locker room conversation.
Go around shirtless all day and watch The Notebook to prove that guys really can cry.
Play video games all day long.
I would want to open some doors for some girls because I know that they would appreciate it and it would make the other guys step up their game.
And some answers were more serious than others.
I think I would be a spokesperson against abortion, to end abortion and to speak about life and not ending birth of their child. And
just want to live the experience. There's quite a few injustices still going on with the female sex and as compared to the male sex. So probably just the difference in views or opinions of male people and female people.
And some of them were just plain hilarious.
I'd probably find a really rich man, and I'd take all his money. I'd go to some nice restaurants, maybe some plastic surgery on myself, and that'd be about it.
Whip my hair back and forth. Yes, whip my hair back and forth. Like that.
Thanks, Ashley. Now let's see what's happening around Starkville and on the MSU campus.
Main Street Arts is holding a drawing for beginner classes on Monday the 7th at 6 p.m. You can learn basic drawing skills such as lines, shapes, shading, perspective, and more. The class will meet on Mondays and Wednesdays through the 16th and cost $120.
Also, if you're interested in art, there are 2 exhibits you can check out on campus. Dr. Chris Dewey's exhibit, It's Only Natural, is displaying in the Culver Student Union Art Gallery until February the 28th. Charlie Buckley's exhibit, Chronogeography, is on display in the Cullisway Depot until the 20th.
In honor of Black History Month, Vanderbilt scholar Houston A. Baker Jr. will be at MSU February 7th to 11th as a scholar in residence. On the 8th at 6 p.m., Baker will hold a public program in Lee Hall's Bettersworth Auditorium. Baker will speak on transatlantic real estate, Mr. and Mrs. Wright expose of Western property grabs. A book signing will be held 45 minutes before the event.
On Tuesday the 8th at 6 p.m., the Maroon Visitor Information Program will be holding an interest session. Maroon VIP student volunteers provide service to MSU visitors at the Welcome Center in the Cullisway Depot. Come to room 126 in McCool Hall to find out more.
On Tuesday the 8th at 7 p.m., Love Games will be held in the Student Union's Doghouse. Campus Activities Board has sponsored the event. Love Games will put couples to the ultimate test with questions about each other, as well as include entertaining games for everyone.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us.
Whoa!